the price of ice block costs $5, a cost they said they have to incur at their own disadvantage to keep their products fresh. Nesmara argues that they are just in the business for the sake of it, but complains that profits are very marginal. We spend most of our time moving from one fish landing site to another, yet we get no profits, she laments. For Henriette Gomez, the rising price of a pound of fish, the fares they pay to transport their products, and the fierce competition from people involved in the export trade are just some of the challenges they have to grapple with. A pound costs $1,600 and an ice block is $5. You buy at least 10 ice blocks to keep the fish fresh. When you sell, your profit is only $25, she said. This is unsustainable and may drive many of us out of business. Banakoli also admits that it takes them 5 days to sell a pound of fish. Sometimes you have to smoke it, bring it back to market and sell at a loss. According to her, she is now thinking of relocating somewhere else where she hopes business may be good. Meanwhile, it is business as usual for these women fishmongers who have to do what they have been doing for over a decade, selling fish to support themselves and their families and pay their children's school fees. While Sobinda's sales will go up in the future as it used to be last year. Mamadou Jallow, GRTS.
Spearheaded by the Gambia National Commission for UNESCO and its Dakar and Bissau offices, a seminar aimed at cross-border language strengthening, which brought together experts in African languages, literacy service providers, writers, and language lecturers from universities and members of the civil society organization, recently ended at the Baobab Resort.
Of cross-border languages to strengthen interborder dialogue and to promote access to universal knowledge has wrapped up in Banjul. The seminar was aimed at protecting and promoting sub-regional usage of local languages, especially Wolof, Mandinka, and Pular, purposely for education and development. In delivering her statement, the Basic and Secondary Education Minister said that using local languages in academic as well as social lives is not designed to challenge the dominance of the international languages we use. Instead, such languages, Minister Faye clarifies, is aimed at promoting peace, stability, and to enhance development.
By establishing the Academy of African Languages, ACALAN, aimed at developing and promoting African languages to be used in all domains of society, the African leaders have given voice to this mission. We must therefore be prepared to go to any length to reflect the use of these languages in the work we do, the advices we give, and even the lives we live. However, pursuing this mission must not be seen to be in conflict with the use of other major international languages such as English, French, Portuguese, and Spanish.
Yaya Almatar Job said that this is the first time cross-border language is so widely discussed. Job also said that the workshop would help identify problems cross-border languages are faced with. Other speakers, including the linguist cum politician Sidia Jata, underscored the importance of local languages. He went on to say that local languages now taught in some Gambian elementary schools was a positive move. Jata revealed this development is possible using the vast languages which Africa is blessed with.
It is time Africa freed her children from this linguistic slavery. It is time that Africans, the adults, the mothers and fathers, realize the fundamental need that the best way that people can change their world is only through the instrumentality of their own languages.
Alhaji Sering Faye, a veteran broadcaster, further buttressed the importance of local languages in socio-economic development. He said language and culture are hardly separable and thus urged the usage of local languages in schools.
You cannot talk about development without languages. You talk about the Millennium Development Goals, and you cannot achieve these goals without languages. You may ask why, because you need to talk to the people that are affected. And for these people to understand, you have to speak to them the language that they understand.
Experts at the program feared that the prospects of certain indigenous Gambian languages of becoming extinct are as clear as crystal if something is not done to avert what experts described as the situation threatening the survival of such languages. For GRTS News, I am Charisane.
As the 10th anniversary of the Iraq War inches closer, mainstream international media have been looking at what some are calling the biggest hoax in recent memory. We'll be back with the news from outside the Gambia after this break.
KGI Fashion Shop ca Standard Chartered House nekk ci traffic light Caraba Avenue di leen indil li nga xam ne mooy latest ci fashion rawatina pour jongoma yi ladies lingerie yang fa dresses ak tops yang fa ba tey fashion jewelry am nañ fa ladies shoes ak seen matching bags am nañ fa mesh yi am nañ wigs ba tey am nañ coats ak blazers lii yëpp pour jongoma yi ba tey am nañ incense maanaam cuuraay yu neex et lool ba tey am nañ fa curtains maanaam ay rideau pour seen néeg yi fàttewuñ góor yi men shirts ak trousers yang fa ak yeneen fashion yu bari KGI Fashion Shop mbir bi yomba lool dama ne dem leen KGI Fashion Shop.
Welcome back. The election of Uhuru Kenyatta as President of Kenya is seen as a slap in the face for the International Criminal Court, which has indicted him for alleged human rights abuses. Mr. Kenyatta has called for respect for the sovereignty of Kenya, vowing that his country will honor its international obligations. His rival, Raila Odinga, has rejected the polls, saying they were rigged in Mr. Kenyatta's favor. We have details in this report.
To savor his victory, or rather his achievement. It's the first time a man sought by the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity is elected president. It's also a slap in the face to the international community by the new president, who is accused of participating in the post-electoral violence of 2008.
While as leaders, we are first and foremost the servants of the Kenyan people, we recognize and accept our international obligations. We also expect that the international community will respect the sovereignty and the democratic will of the people of Kenya.
However, his new role of president does not guarantee him immunity. The scheduled hearing at The Hague is due to begin on July 9th. That doesn't bother his supporters, though, from expressing their joy at his win.
I just wanted to celebrate for Kenyans and for Uhuru to win. And we hope that the peace, it will continue.
The aftermath of the deadly violence that took place following the 2008 elections is still in the minds of people. On Saturday, calls for peace came from London, Paris, and Washington. In Kisumu, the hometown of the defeated candidate Raila Odinga, his supporters voiced their disappointment.
Go to the stage right now. Wajaribu walete kitu inaitwa justice in Kenya. Yeah, there is no justice in Kenya.
You've mentioned if the
For Odinga, it's quite simple. The results were rigged.
Do you think that those votes...
They retreated into a room, only to come back and order all our agents out of the room. Thereafter, they lost themselves in the room and were supposedly telling themselves and announcing results.
There was a parallel count. Raila Odinga announced he would challenge the results, but only through legal means. It's a peaceful attitude that complements a sense of peace that has spread throughout the country since Sunday.
A Nigerian militant group, Ansarul Muslimina, has announced the execution of 7 foreign hostages taken 3 weeks ago in response to British and Nigerian attempts to rescue them. In Burma, Aung San Suu Kyi has been re-elected as head of the National League for Democracy. We have more of this and other stories in this roundup of news.
Nigerian Islamist group Ansarut claimed on Saturday to have killed 7 foreign hostages taken 3 weeks ago. The hostages are reportedly 2 Lebanese nationals, 2 Syrians, a Greek, an Italian, and a Briton. Ansarut said the hostages were killed because of attempts by the British and Nigerian governments to rescue the captives. On Sunday, Aung San Suu Kyi was re-elected head of the main opposition party, the National League for Democracy. She was elected unanimously by the Central Executive Committee at the NLD's First National Congress. The conference aimed to strengthen the party, which will become increasingly important in the run-up to the 2015 legislative elections.